entrepreneurial giants such as Bill Gates and Steve Jobs are college dropouts. So how important really is a college degree? Well, co-founder of PayPal, Peter Thiel, has created a bit of controversy when he created a foundation to support young entrepreneurs if they were to drop out of college and spend the next 2 years to create their own business startup. So 20 college students under the age of 20 have been awarded $100,000 so that they can spend the next couple of years creating their own businesses. And with me this morning is one of the Thiel Fellowship winners, Ben Yu. Thank you for being here, Ben.
Thanks for inviting me.
So, very quickly, you are 19 years old. You were a Harvard student, majoring in?
Human developmental and regenerative biology.
Which would have taken you where? What were you trying to do with that?
My idea was originally to tackle the idea of longevity and the concept of prolonging human life to possibly a few more centuries. Well, longer than that.
A few more centuries.
Hopefully.
Okay, that'd be great. So that was what you were going to do as a Harvard major.
Right.
And I understand that in your first semester you were taking classes and you just decided that maybe you were young and adventurous, you wanted to take off and travel a little bit.
Yeah, and I figured I've been in school pretty much my entire life to that point. Hadn't really gotten out of the American suburban bubble. Figured wanted to experience more radically different cultures.
You grew up in Chicago?
Yeah.
Okay. So you wanted to travel. So you decided to take a trip to the China, Himalayas?
Originally, I went to Tanzania in Eastern Africa first, and then I spent a few months there in Africa, went to Egypt, and then I spent about another month in China before returning.
So as you were preparing for this trip, you went to school for 1 semester, then you decided to take some time off. As you were preparing your trip, you came up against something. What was that?
So what I was doing was I was compiling a list of all the gear I need, and it totaled about a few $1,000s at retail. So I started looking for good deals because I was still a poor college student at that point. And what I found was that culminated in an effort from Black Friday to Cyber Monday where I didn't sleep for 4 days. And I found good deals, but I realized there was no comprehensive way to find good deals. It took me 4 days without sleeping to get the deals I needed. So
you were visiting a myriad of websites.
Right, exactly.
Okay. All right.
And there was no comprehensive one place to go to find good deals. So that's what I came up against, and it was in the shower about a week afterwards where I had this revelation and realized the reason why there wasn't one comprehensive way to do it, and it's not because it's not possible. It's just because the current leaders in the field, I believe, are tackling the problem in a different way than it should be tackled. So,
well, really, if you want a deal, you just have to go online and just kind of hunt and peck, and that's what you were doing for 4 days.
Right, exactly.
So your idea is to avoid all that hunting and pecking and create some kind of a business model?
Just a site that you can go to, type in what you're looking for, instantly find go and buy for the lowest price. It's not a new idea, not a new concept. There's Google Price, Yahoo Shopping, Price Grabber, but they all use a very complex algorithm to tackle the idea, and we're taking a different approach from that.
So that's your business model, and that was an idea.
Right.
You had found out about this Thiel Fellowship, and you applied, and then you went off to your trip.
Yeah, I found out right after I left my first semester during winter break, about a week before the deadline, applied for it, and they told me in February that I was one of the finalists. So came back for an interview, and then it just went from there.
So you are you're one of the official 20 fellowship winners.
There are actually 24.
24,
yeah.
Okay. And you were awarded, or will be awarded, $100,000 for the next 2 years.
Right.
You moved out here to California, and you're going to do what now?
So we're working full-time now on my price comparison service, and be doing that for the next 2 years.
So let me understand this. They give you the money for a 2-year time. You are not necessarily dropping out of college.
Right.
They call it stop out.
Exactly.
Which means that you always have the option of going back, right?
Right.
At this point in time, do you think you will be going back to college?
It's really far in the future, and obviously depending on a lot of factors in the next 2 years. But at this point, I would say I would like to go back under the condition that if I went back, I would have to be financially secure to a point that I could go back solely to learn for learning's sake, not be motivated or have my educational interests diluted by prospect of a future financial career.
Right.
Right.
So hopefully, if this business model of yours takes off, you will have some money in your pocket. You can go back to school. Okay. So they are supporting. Is the foundation providing you kind of a think tank atmosphere?
Yes.
Or how are you? Yeah. How are you developing your business model?
Right, so the Thiel Foundation is extremely supportive. They provide us with hundreds of mentors from every field, whatever field we need, and they have monthly meetings. They have a retreat we're going to actually in a few weeks, and they just keep in touch with us throughout the entire progress of 2 years. Make sure we're doing
When
it.
you say we, are you talking about the other 23 fellows?
Right.
So you all moved out here to California, and you
Most
all
of us, right.
okay. So are you all kind of be centralized on a campus situation or a housing situation?
Housing is completely up to us
Okay.
to find where we want to live. A lot of us do plan to live together, however, and kind of get that synergistic environment going. So,
And so kind of be creative all together.
right, exactly.
As you're working towards your business plan and your goal, are they giving you additional money to help you start it up, or is that strictly on your own? I mean, it's like, here's a chance, give me some money to help support you and go forth and create a business.
Exactly. That's
Really?
it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's a good challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge, definitely. It's not like a golden ticket or any straight shot into success, but just gives us the foundation really to scaffold off.
Okay, so I have to ask you, since you're 19, how do your parents feel about this?
First, they were a little uncomfortable with the idea, but I made clear to them that I would be dropping out regardless of whether or not I got the fellowship. So, given that, they became pretty supportive when I got the fellowship.
Now, wait a minute. What do you mean that you would be dropping out regardless of this fellowship? You had no intention of going back to school after your travels?
Stopping out would be more technical,
Okay.
but I had the intention of taking at least a few years off of school to pursue this idea, regardless of fellowship.
Okay, so you came up with a great idea. You don't want to let go of that.
Right, exactly.
So maybe we can say someday that we had you here at the very beginning, right?
Hopefully.
All right, Ben. Congratulations and good luck, and we'll see what happens with your website.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right, thank you very much, Ben. Okay, stay right there. We're going to take a break.